let's go ahead and get going here. So welcome to the new SEO formula for preschools and childcare centers. I am recording this webinar, so if somebody misses it, they'll be able to get access to it at a later time. This webinar is all part of the 2017 Internet Marketing Plan. So each month we're dissecting a piece of that marketing plan and bringing it back to you. If you missed that initial call in January, please go to this link, localchildcaremarketing.com/2017-webinar-replay, and you'll find that. And what we're striving for throughout the year is to learn how to maximize your web presence using the latest internet marketing strategies. We work off of a model that we've developed here, which we call the Web Presence Domination Method. And in that, we talk about foundation. So we're continuing to talk about this month just in the foundation. We have not moved on to any of these others yet. We're talking about the benefits of strong copy, conversion on your website, on-page SEO, link building, directories, blogging, and reputation. So we'll cover that either last month, this month, or next month, each of these components. Then we look at social engagement, onto advertising, social media, pay-per-click advertising, retargeting, reputation marketing, and then we'll jump off and talk about some more traditional things that are still part of your web presence, such as email marketing, directory ads, postcard marketing, and referral marketing, and how you can drive people back to your website or to a particular page on your website so that they're able to find the special offer that you've got going on or whatever you're trying to promote using traditional media, but yet sending them to your website. I really need your attention, so please turn off your cell phones, turn off your Facebook. If you're a child care center owner or director and you spend the next 60 to 70 minutes, I will help you get focused on doing what works for online marketing for you today. And I'm going to apologize right up front. I'm having a little problems with my voice this morning, so if I'm stumbling a little bit, I apologize in advance. Again, if you've got questions, please go ahead and type them into the chat box, and I will answer them as we go along, or at the end of the session if I don't get to them as we go along. What we'll cover today is the latest updates with the Google algorithm, the things that you may have put in place in the past that could be hurting you now. One of those things specifically is link building practices that either you performed or somebody else that you had do it for you, and then how to optimize your website using the new SEO formula. So we'll cover all those things today. Who am I? Well, one, I enjoy helping others achieve their dreams and goals. I really relate to entrepreneurs because I am one. I've bought and sold and operated over 10 different businesses in my life. I also do speaking. I've spoken on the Chris Murray stage and the Julie Barkas stage. So if you're in childcare, you're familiar with those two traditional consultants. And I'm the online consultant. And then I'm a certified online marketing specialist. So I educate myself on what's going on, what keeps going on in the internet, and how it keeps changing and evolving. And that allows me to bring you these types of webinars to understand exactly what's going on. What people are saying. Jeff always thinks outside the box to facilitate others' dreams and reach their potential. There are few people in the world with the scope of vision, knowledge, and business intuition, and my ability to think big. So that's what other people have said about me. I share that because if you're trying to figure out if you're in the right place as far as finding an internet marketing consultant, I do business advice as well as internet marketing consulting. So I can do everything from, what type of entity to set up when you first get started, actually how to position yourself to sell your business and beyond. Most recently, we had a customer for 4 years in Georgia, and he just sold his business. And I was proud to participate in about 4 hours of consulting to help him get his business ready to sell. So that's something else that I can help with. We've helped, local childcare marketing has helped hundreds of customers, multi-center customers, single owner customers, even Montessori schools. So we have a full background in helping different types of customers and what they need. This is what we do. So this team, this is only part of our team. We specialize in online marketing. We get up every day and we think about it, and we train on it, and we implement what we know as best practices. A lot of times, unfortunately, what Google's doing and when they do it, and I'll cover this a little later in the webinar, isn't always really clear. And sometimes it's 3 to 6 months before we understand exactly what they're trying to do, because good or bad, Google does not go out and announce exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, other than they'll use vague terms like user experience or making sure your content is relevant. And so as an SEO professional, we have to figure out what exactly that means. A lot of times the way we discover that is how we see traffic changing to our websites. So unfortunately, a lot of times what we do is very reactionary. Well, we stay proactive by training, and then in this case, by sharing webinars to learn more about what we're doing. Workbook, I did not get a workbook done. I've not been feeling well for this last week, so I apologize for that. You will get emailed the workbook tomorrow to help you out. Format for today, this is a live workshop. We'll have people on here from all over the country. Hi Brandy, hi Jordan, hi Leonard, Sherry, Shirley, Karen. Thanks for being on the call. Please ask your questions in the chat box. I will answer them. If the question is more complicated than I feel like I can answer here online, I will reach out to you and talk to you specifically about it. And I'll do everything possible to answer the questions as we go. But again, if not, I'll answer them at the end. So here's the recent changes to the Google search engine. Only ads along the top and the bottom, so no side ads. So if you remember, about a year ago, one day side ads disappeared on the Google search engine, and I'll show you images of that here in just a second. And the reason being is they were realigning their layout to work better on mobile phones, mobile devices. Google Map listings, if you've been around long enough, you will remember when it was 10 listings, then it went down to 7 listings, and now it's down to 3, and we're also seeing the possibility that it's down to 2. So that's going to change, and I'll talk about that. Google is serving paid ads on map results. So if you're doing pay-per-click advertising, depending on your budget, if you have enough budget, you want to do advertising inside the map results as well. Testing Google Home Services in San Diego and other markets near California. So although this is not childcare, because this is something provided to a parent, I want to show you what's happening. It's actually in the plumbing space that Google's testing it, and how they're changing the maps around completely, and how the whole entire Google map structure may go away in the next 12 to 18 months. And then Google has just recently rolled out mobile first indexing, and we'll talk about that. So only ads along the top and the bottom. So here you can see we've got pay-per-click advertising going on here. We've got the maps here, and this searches for daycare North Las Vegas. And I put the little red box because I'm proud to be have Brandy and Watch Me Grow as a customer, and they're here now in the organic. So this would be, this is the top, this is all the way to the bottom, and then here's the recommended. And you'll see now something that's new is there's ads on the bottom. So all of the ads that used to be out here on the side, they still have them. They actually have just as many. They're just doing it in different ways. And now they put them at the bottom. Now, they never used to be able to put them at the bottom, because 3 years ago, I would have told you that you did not want to scroll down or have to scroll down on your website. Today, since everything is about mobile, they actually give you better scoring and better relevancy if they can sense that people are scrolling on the website now. So a very different change. And that's why they now can put ads down at the bottom here, because people will actually see them as they scroll down. I talked about Google is serving paid ads in the map results. So this is a map result over here. Again, here we were talking preschool Jackson, Michigan. So you can see there's one paid ad. And here's ABC Academy, 3 of their locations, which we proudly serve here at Local Child Care Marketing, are in here. And so again, this is a judgment call. Do I pay for this ad, or are these 3 indicators enough for this particular customer? So these are the types of things that we analyze as we go along. And if you're in the top 3 positions, typically we won't pay for an ad because we are always on limited budgets. At least I don't have a single customer that has an unlimited budget. So one of the things that we're very proud of is taking the time to work with people, and they're trying to work within their budgets to get as much as we can of online web presence. So what's coming next? Well, this is what I was talking about, home services. Like I said, I know this is plumbers, but you got to wonder what the heck's going to happen next. So you'll notice now the Google map down here, here's the map, is only 2, but what they've put in is plumbers serving San Diego, and these are all paid, and you'll see Google guaranteed. So Google is actually guaranteeing that these people will hold to a certain standard that Google has set out. So again, very big change coming. Not sure if it will apply to childcare, but for some of you, you may remember about 2 years ago, they had what they call the carousel up at the top. And so they took Google Maps from this format and they put it all across the top. That didn't seem to work so well, so it went away. So I'm not sure if this will come into childcare, but I wanted to give you one example of how Google is always testing. And remember, at the end of the day, you know, Google did a great job. They got us hooked on their platform. We love their platform. We use their platform all the time. And then all of a sudden, they keep expanding on the ways that they can make money off of their platform. So I wouldn't be surprised that we see this type of format coming through. We've also seen they've been testing actually putting ads right inside of the map. So that may be coming through as well in the near future. So just be aware that when you're working with an SEO professional, they've got to be looking at what's happening, how it's changing, and then reacting as quickly as possible once the information's out there. One of the things I'm proud of here at Local Child Care Marketing is we have on staff a marketing manager and myself who work diligently to stay on top of all the blog posts and stuff about how things are changing, and again, try to implement it in the packages that we offer. The 3 biggest changes, though, that need to be aware of is you can no longer get away with duplicate content. So if you have duplicate content on your website, it needs to go. So if you had a phrase that you really liked on your homepage and you decided to put it on 3 other pages, that's duplicate content. In the past, also, we had irrelevant and low-quality links pointed back to your website. So your childcare, so links should be about childcare. They should be from childcare associations. Because you're a local business, they should also be from local entities. So if you just promote the Little League, for example, you need to reach out to the Little League and say, for the $150 I'm going to give you this year, I expect an acknowledgement on your website, and I expect that to link back to my website. And then you provide them what exactly you want them to say. So local is also about relevant. The things you want to avoid is what they call article farms, where people just write articles about anything and link back to your website. You want to avoid, in the past it was very common to pay for a link from a particular website, and it really didn't matter what the website was as long as you had a link. Today, Google is looking at every single one of your backlinks and determining what their quality score is and making sure they're a high level. So that's a really big change that's come on in the last year. And then the biggest change probably for everybody is you need a real physical office to rank well on Google Maps. For childcare centers, that's not such a big deal. But for every other business out there, especially if you're a plumber or a construction contractor, or anything that's, you know, providing service to a service area, you're going to struggle to get into maps. And the days of you know, having a UPS store box or something are gone. So those are things to take in. So I'm going to talk about detail. So you can't get away with duplicate content. Most preschools and childcare centers serve just a 4 to 7 mile radius. Lots of little cities and towns overlap. Now on the West Coast, that's not so true, but on the East Coast, that's very true. I was talking to a lady yesterday who's in New York, and within 5 miles of her, there are 16 different unique entities that are either called a hamlet, a town, or a city. So how does she deal with those 16 different places that she wants to rank? So what you do is you set up city pages, so you're discussing each of those pages. But in the past, what was very common is you'd set up 16 city pages, and then you just copy everything except for the city name onto each of those pages. Can't get away with that. So each of those 16 pages, if she becomes a customer, we'll be writing copy for that, for each of the 16 pages, unique copy. And that's the most difficult part about upgrading and keeping traffic to your website, is do you have each of those cities identified so you're ranking for them. In the past, people have set up microsites. So instead of putting pages on their website, they actually would create 16 little websites that all were about different cities, strip the same content across them all, and again, only change the city name. That's not acceptable anymore, and you'll get penalized. And as I just said, every page on your website must be unique from one page to the next and from one site to the next. So it's not just that we're comparing what's on your site, but we're also comparing that out across the web to see that we don't have duplicate content. Now, obviously, certain terms and certain phrases are going to be duplicate content. What they're looking more for is what's the ratio of unique content to the ratio of what's duplicate, or now they're calling actually common content. And what I mean by common content is, you know, if you say at the bottom of every single one of your pages on your website, God bless America, well, obviously you could say that's duplicate content, but Google's algorithms are smart enough that you will not get penalized for that type of thing, because there's 100,000 other websites out there that all say God bless America on them, for example, and it would be impossible to police that. So they have to build those exceptions, or what we call negative keywords, in, so they'll ignore those. But again, got to be looking at unique content on your website, making sure each page is unique, has a great call to action. You have too many irrelevant or low quality links. It used to be all about links. As many links as you get, just get links, and it was a pure count system. Now each link is graded, and for simple explanation, each of those links are worth anywhere from -1 to +1 to +1. So if you have a bad link, it actually counts against you. You can have a link that's on a pretty remote, slightly relevant site, and you might get -1 value for that link, and the next one, which is a link from a local pizza parlor, for example, maybe 3/4 of a point, and the link that comes back to your site from the Child Care Marketing Association or Child Care Education Association or the 0 to 3 website, for example, those links would all get a point because they're highly relevant and good quality links. And then you want to diversify your anchor text and build more high quality and relevant links. So it used to be you just put out there, you know, child care, Colorado Springs, and you'd get every link to say child care Colorado Springs. Today, you actually only want 40% of your links to use that one anchor text. You're also going to want to use things like click here and other phrases like that to show those links coming back from websites. And that's why as you ask somebody for a link from their site, you actually have to look at the various profiles that you have out there to determine what you want to do. Sometimes you want to use what's just called a naked URL, which is just http:// your domain name.com. So all of this has to be tracked, and if you get the weighting wrong, you'll get penalized for that. And then you need to review your current link profile, find the bad links, and either have them removed or disavowed. And if you're a current customer, Brandy and Jordan, we do this as a part of your package. So it has happened to your site, and then we check it about every 6 months. So that's one of the things that we do for customers. And then finally, the third big change, you'll need a real physical office to rank well in Google. Like I said, it doesn't really apply so much to childcare, but I share this with you just to show you some of the complexity of what goes on, but also I'm sure some of you have a friend that's a plumber or a roofer or whatever that's trying to work from their home and wondering why they're not getting listed in the Google Maps. And this is a major change that they made. So you have your primary list now in the local map listings. They're looking for fake addresses. There's actually a time in the history of SEO where they would teach you to just pick an address anywhere near the central point of where your service area is, and then you call that your address because nobody ever checked. Well, Google's whole theory here is if I'm going to promote a local business, I want somebody to be sitting at that local business. So if somebody drives over, knocks on the door and walks in, there's actually a going entity there. So this is what this particular cleanup takes care of. Used to use UPS stores, mailbox, etc., and other virtual offices. So sometimes that makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. So for my business, local childcare marketing, we use a UPS store for our address, and we're fine because local childcare marketing is a national business. It's not a local business. So all those things have to be taken into account. If they're working from home and have a home address, then they're Google My Business. If you're hiding the address, it will stand less of a chance to show up. And really the biggest change of all of this stuff that I'm talking about is just about, I think within the last 60 days, Google came right out and said, we're going to give you nearest proximity to where you're located at. So if you're sitting in your car, for example, and you're in the parking lot of where you work, and you decide to search for childcare on your phone, the phone, depending on how it's set up, if the phone's set up to track your physical location at the moment, will give you one result. If you have your phone set up to always track back to your home office or your office or your home, any one of those, then it will look at from that destination. So say you have your phone set up for your home, then it will give you in closest proximity to your home. So when we do Google searches, and we hear this all the time, well, I'm not showing up. What device are you using? Well, I'm using my phone. Okay, you typed in childcare, North Las Vegas, where Brandy and Watch Me Grow are, and if she's sitting on the south side of Las Vegas and has her phone programmed to show where she's physically sitting in her car at that moment, she's not going to see her center because her center is, 7 or 10 miles north of where she's sitting. So she's going to see the top 3 results for childcare centers right around her. She drives the 7 miles north, puts in the exact same search, and now it's going to show her center. And again, if it's programmed for her phone is programmed for her home, wherever she lives, it's going to do the same thing. So those are really big changes in Google Maps, and we do our best to take that into account. And there's some new guidelines that we're following to provide the best opportunity. And the best opportunity comes from one of the things as it's looking at Google Maps is it's also looking at most relevant. So if we've done our job and built the site, or you've done the job and built the site that has highly relevant content, it will ignore some of the childcare centers near your proximity and actually show others that are more relevant, because that's the thing Google does, is it's always showing the most relevant stuff. And I talked about it earlier, it's also about mobile indexing, or mobile first is what it's called. So it's always going to try and show your website through a mobile perspective first, and then look at it from a desktop styling and the way it's laid out. So we take all of that into account as well as we develop websites today, which is different than the way we developed websites even 2 years ago. So, you know, if you've got an older site, you need to go through your site and make sure that it can show up on a mobile first search, or if the technology is not built into your website because at the time it didn't even exist, then we'll have to figure out how to make changes, or you'll have to hire somebody to do that for you. What else has changed? Basically, old-fashioned SEO is no longer effective. And in the past, we had Panda, Penguin, Pigeon, and all of those things were moving us in the direction of user experience optimization. So when we show up on a website, it's all about how we flow through the website, how any visitor comes on, are they finding the information and being able to get the things that they want. For most child care centers, if they're an existing parent, they're looking for a phone number to call in that say little Johnny's sick today and they don't have it programmed in their phone, or they lost a scrap of paper that they had it written down on, whatever. So that's one thing for the existing parent. For somebody that's had a referral and said, hey, maybe you should check out ABC Academy Jackson, and they're like now found that website, and what are they looking for? Well, they're looking for the fact that ABC Academy Jackson has 5 locations, which location is nearest, so the maps page on site is going to be a big component. And then also the phone numbers. Are the phone numbers clearly displayed so that they can call and set up a tour? Or is there, you know, set up a tour button if that's what the customer, meaning the child care center, wants? So all of that comes into play in the user experience optimization. And so everything we do in the new SEO is all about that, is about that user experience. New ranking factors, so things that allow your website to rank. Click-through rate is key. So if they're finding you in an organic search, they're finding you in pay-per-click advertising, if they're finding you in Facebook advertising, wherever the case may be, every time you get a click, that's going to tell Google that your website's very relevant. And it's the second, third, and fourth click while they're on there that really cements in that you're an important childcare provider in that area. So that click-through rate is essential. As I said a little earlier, scroll rate now is essential. Are they scrolling down once they get to your homepage or website? And again, this really came into play when you bring mobile into the equation, because again, 3 years ago, I would always tell people, don't depend on scrolling, because at that point it was less than 20% of people would scroll. Today the numbers have completely flipped, and more than 80% scroll. So you want to have that. Time on page is a big deal, and we'll talk about that here a little bit later. Bounce rate is something to watch very closely. So you want to see why they're bouncing off your site. Look at the content on your site and make sure it's well optimized, well written. Because again, if you have an older site, the page may have been written in a style that's less topical and not answering as many questions. So the whole theory is kind of use this kind of principle. It's 3 U's for every we. And what I mean by that is benefits. So you get this, you get benefit A, you get benefit B, you get benefit C. We've been in business for 20 years. You get free lunches, you get diapers included, you get bus to transport your child to the after school care or whatever, and we do this next thing. So You want to make sure that your pages are dealing with the you and the we, because a lot of the old writing was we do this, we do that. And it's a balance. So don't run to your website and start counting and trying to figure it out. Because again, if your website's working, you're getting the leads you expected, then most of the time we don't change it, because it's proven copy that converts. If we have copy that's not converting, then we have to look at that copy. The other thing, new ranking factor, is the number of citations. So going out there and getting listed on Yelp, Yellow Pages, Foursquare, Hot Frog, Best of the Web, and a variety of other things. And then relevant links we talked about, and then finally, all caps here, reviews. Biggest mistake being made today in child care centers across the board is the belief that because I choose not to do reviews, it's okay. I don't have to conform to Google. I can just not do reviews. And you know, if you've got all the customers that you want and you're always full, that's an absolutely true statement. If you don't have all the customers that you want and you're not completely full, Google highly takes into account reviews. So if you're not getting, and I like to say, you want to get 1 to 2 reviews every month. You don't need 20, you don't need 50. Again, you don't need to run a huge contest. If you were a different industry, that might be the case, but in childcare, it's as simple as taking one of your, make a list of your top 20 or 30 parents and just ask 1 or 2 of them every week to go and do a review for you. Do it on Facebook, do it on Google, do it on Yelp, wherever they like to do reviews, and make it as simple as possible. Give them instructions on how to do it if you don't think they know how to do it, and get those reviews. The belief that I can just ignore this component of it doesn't work. One of the things that we found personally, and that's always a struggle with reviews, is customers always asking us, how can you help us with the reviews? And the bottom line is, if you're not asking for them, they're not going to happen. There's no way that a service provider can do that ask for you. You have to do that ask. Now, there are some that services that provide CRM and try to email out to get reviews, and some of those services do work, but they're very expensive. So if you want to get a review service and pay $300-400 a month to help you get 1 or 2 reviews every month, that's fine. Or again, you just set up a fairly easy manual system of make a list of your, 20 or 30 or 40 best parents, and just make a point of asking. I would ask 5 every month and you'll get 1 or 2 reviews. So that's the way I suggest. I also suggest you put time on your calendar twice a month that you just sit down for an hour and send out those emails. I'd even send it to all 40 on the list. But I'd be very cautious, because again, it doesn't look good if you get 20 reviews this week and then no reviews for the next 2 months. So be careful, but that is a huge ranking factor today. So be aware of that. So also, we need to figure out the most important keywords, and they're based on your service area, and search volume. There's different tools that you can use to get those that I recommend. Most of these are paid tools. So again, if we're doing the work for you, then we're taking advantage of that. If you are doing the work yourself, start out with Google Keyword Tool, and then I'm actually going to give you this list of keywords that we start with on every single childcare center. So you'll have a lot of the research done for you. Make sure you've got a great website with unique pages targeting each of those keywords. The biggest mistake I'm seeing today is parallax websites. So we're going to put infant care, toddler care, preschool, pre-kindergarten, and we're going to do that all in one page and hope that that one page will rank, because the page looks really cool. I mean, it just looks really cool. But that doesn't work. Google wants a page for each. So as you see websites that do well, you have a page for infant care, you have a page for toddler care, you have possibly, 1 to 2s, 2s to 3s, 3s to 4s, and then all the keywords that you use. And I always want to be cautioning you to remember it's location specific too, because on the West Coast, you never hear of a nursery school. And in the Southeast, we use the word nursery school on websites there. So you have to look at each of those keywords and see if they apply. Make sure that you have the pages for each city that you serve. Again, for most of you, that's going to be just your one website. But if you do serve or cross borders into 2 or 3 other cities, make sure you're getting those city pages added. Make sure you got a great user experience going on. Optimize your website for SEO on site, and then build your authority doing off-site optimization. Again, building just a variety of links back to your site, but it's also your social profile. So do you have a Facebook account? Do you have a Twitter account? Do you have a Pinterest account, an Instagram account, a Snapchat account? And Jordan, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Please type it in the chat. But you want all of those, and you want your brand aligned, so your logo on each of those, because those are all going to give you a link back to your website. So your logo has to match, your wording has to match. Again, remember, you got to kind of write Twitter. If I forgot Twitter, so you got to have all those. So where you have the little, typically less than 100-word description, you know, you got to drill down real quick. And my child care center is the best because, or my child center will provide you the following experience, and then explain it. But make sure that they're all matching up across the web. And the reason being is, believe it or not, those little descriptions get scraped off to other authority sites and other directory sites. So you want to make sure that that's doing a great job for you. And then tracking your results, looking at, you know, how much traffic you're getting to the website. Are they clicking around and looking at your website? Do you have call tracking on your website? And if you have call tracking, are you listening to every single call that comes in, not from what was their name and phone number, but also how did your front desk handle that call? You know, was it very professional? Was it the script that you wanted them to read, so that you get exactly the user experience that you're trying to do there from the front desk as well? I mean, we hear it all the time. Just recently, we reviewed call tracking on a customer. We had 25 calls. 14 of the 25, they did not ask for contact information. They answered the questions and essentially hung up the phone. So they had no way to reach back out to those people. And their big complaint was, we're not getting enough leads. Well, you're not getting enough leads because, remember, the number of people that make the decision on the first call are very small. The bigger number is the ones when you send them out an email and say, hey, thanks for coming in yesterday, or thanks for calling yesterday. Did you know that we provide these 4 or 5 benefits? Next email, day later, can be as simple as, here's 5 testimonials of parents that are satisfied with our child care center. Can be all of those things, but all of that needs to be optimized. So when I say offsite optimization, I'm not only talking about the web, but are you optimizing the phone calls that come in, making sure great user experience, you have a script. And I hear, again, things I hear as well, it's too hard to teach a script. It's too hard to manage my people. It's just too hard. And, you know, okay, I can buy into that, but that is what gets you the experience that you want. So keep that in mind. So you're tracking all the results on all of that stuff and a variety of other things, and seeing every month, you know, where you can tweak your website, where you can tweak your links to get you higher up in the search engines, and then also what can you tweak on your website to you know, have better conversions. As a director or owner of the child care center, are you reviewing at least 2 pages of your website every single month and getting them updated if the vocabulary has changed, the name of the program has changed, if the way you're doing it has changed, or just an image that you know, when you first built your website, you put in a stock photo, and now you've got a really cool image of one of your children, and you've got permission to use it, and you substitute that in. Because authenticity, which is a part of authority, is really important. If you're a director or owner, is your picture on your website somewhere? Is it hidden away that they have to go 14 clicks in to finally see you because you don't like your picture? Well, and then you're going to suffer on authority because you want to stand right out. You want to be big and make a difference. So no more than one click to seeing your face. So think of it from that perspective, whether it's your staff listing or about us or our leaders or however you decide to do that. Preschool childcare keywords. Here's a big list of ones that we use, and we actually use more than this. But these are kind of the core ones. So pretty much you're going to insert your city with preschool, childcare with a space, childcare without a space, daycare with a space, daycare without a space, pre-K. How is pre-K spelled, again, in your neighborhood? Is it pre-space K? Is it pre-K? And it's pretty easy. Just go do a Google search, see what your competition's doing, and make sure if you see 10 of your competition all using a dash in here, that's probably how your part of the country spells it. Infant care, and then what's the other offsetting? Baby care. You know, all of these need to be taken into account. And at the end here, I'll do some searching, and I'll do just a demonstration on how people make really big mistakes with their keywords. So on-site optimization, strong website, good content, great user experience. Leverage multimedia to improve your on-page time. So get a video on your homepage. That's always great. Put videos on each one of your pages for toddlers, infant care, each of the different levels of care. As many videos as you can make. You can make them yourself. You can reach out on Fiverr. I highly recommend Fiverr. And the reason being is, guys, I can make you a video and I have to charge about $150 to make it worth my time. And typically on Fiverr for $20 or less, you can do a great video. You can even do your voiceover, so you can have whoever's creating your video for you can also put your voice in there. And of course, we're always willing to help. But again, because budgets are tight, rather than spending that money on me creating a video for you, I would rather spend that time building some links back, because they both have value, but links overall will have a greater value over a longer period of time, because the video will become obsolete, but that great link that we got from the Chamber of Commerce in your city is good for as long as you keep it up to date. Make sure you have pages for each of your programs, pages for the cities that you serve, and you have unique content on every page. That's important. Keyword in the title and in the H1 tag, name, address, phone number in the footer or sidebar, meta description that sells the click. So again, when we get to the end here, I'm going to do some searching and I'll work through these different components and show them to you. And then blogs with ongoing updates. So as a minimum, you should have on your blog, you should have one industry specific, I'm an authority because kind of blog. So, you know, the 5 things to consider when selecting a preschool, 5 things every child needs to know before they enter the 1st grade, whatever that is, and then make it very industry specific about I am the authority. And then we call them seasonal blogs. Then you want to have something seasonal for the social component of it. So it can be, you know, celebrate Veterans Day, celebrate the holidays. We recently did child care or child abuse awareness month. So making people aware of what's going on in our world. So we do those types of things. That's blogs. Real examples. So, you know, what is engaging here? So I'm sorry, this is a little squished. It looks very different on when you open up their website, but you know, home, about us, resources, a statement here, why choose us, the ability to sign up for their factors report, the easy way to call them, an easy way to click the link and schedule our tour, breakdown of this, the talking about the family-run business, and then what they offer, and then there's that multimedia component in here. So even in a mobile phone, if you go look at this, this is a great layout. Now this is a website rebuild that we just recently did. Young Scholars has been a customer about 4 years, so the website that we built 4 years ago needed to be rebuilt because, again, we had to take into account all the new things that Google's doing. And this one now definitely is set up for mobile first. So when Google's looking to see who to give a recommendation on, they'll see that. Totally different style. So the one you just saw a second ago was a full width style. This is what's called a fixed width style, which is perfectly fine as well. It's just really what your preferences are. So instead of a video, here we're using a slider. You only want 3 to 4 slides here. You don't want 10 or 12. Good caption, a strong caption here. Good copy written. And then over here, we love to show the image of the location. We do that because if you're a new person in town and you're a little, apprehensive about even where the roads work and how they work, if I've seen either your sign or your building entry here, it really calms them down as they're trying to find your location. We want street address, we want phone numbers, hours of operation, days of operations, and then we always put in a driving direction so they can click over and actually get onto the Google map and see exactly how to do it. So that's all interactive. And then, why choose us? What are our programs? Blog posts. We don't call it blogs, we call it events and updates. Does the same thing, and trust me, Google knows it's a blog. And again, what's going on? General updates. Everybody needs a raincoat on Friday because we're going out to the park or something like that. Can be a simple general update. You're going to post that also over in your Facebook page, and you can even post it in your Facebook page and link it back to your page here. And then again, holidays, parenting tips, and health and safety, and all of those can be your authority building. So parent tips especially are a great place to put in authority building things. And 3 activities to do with your child on a rainy day that will help them learn their ABCs. So not just 3 things to do with your child on a rainy day, but that will help them do their ABCs. That makes you the expert. And remember, it's your opinion a lot of times, and that's fine. And if you can back it up with some education, for certain parents, that's important. So I'm going to ask for volunteers here at the end, and we'll look at some things. Off-page SEO, what do you need to get done? So you need to make sure that you're claiming and optimizing your Google My Business listing, getting lots of citations across the web, building up your online reviews. You can look at tools like Review Buzz, Customer Lobby, or we have a review tool for local childcare marketing as well. And then building the authoritative links back to your website from other websites. So that's your off page. The secret to getting ranked on the Google map, your Google My Business has to be correctly set up. You want to make sure that you're looking at what the categories are that your competitors are doing and make sure that you're in alignment with them, unless you absolutely know they're wrong. But again, oftentimes we see subtle differences, and Google Maps is set up with the primary keyword of daycare, and you really don't want to be known as a daycare, you want to be known as a preschool. So you have to go into Google My Business and make those adjustments. What happens then is getting, like I said, on all these different things. So you got Yellowbot, OpenList, DexKnows, Kudzu, the list goes on, Axiom. And so you want to be on all of these different lists. And again, this is a service we provide because this is very time-consuming work that we undertake. And then reviews. Reviews are going to drive you onto the maps faster than anything else that you do. Building good relevant links. So you want to link from a childcare related site, for example. You want to go out and find a website that talks about family values, something like that, build the website back. something about lifestyle. Again, simply, if you already provide like an evening program or Saturday morning program, you can go onto a lifestyle site, especially a local one, and say, please put our link back on Thursday nights if you want to go out and have dinner and a movie with your significant other. We're a great place to drop off your child for that 2 hours, 3 hours. So those types of lifestyle things. Facebook and Pinterest, Yelp, it just goes on. And then associations related to childcare. All of those need to be links back when I talk about relevant. And then you look at how good are your relevant links. And since I didn't want to share customer links, I'm looking here at local childcare marketing. So you can see here, Folk D, they have a section on marketing. Obviously, we're a marketing company. Here's the strength of that link, which is good. And here's the domain strength. And we want, ideally, you want at least a minimum domain strength of 10. So we can see here, ABC Academy Jackson has a link on the very bottom of their website. Everybody asks why we do that. So we get a link back from them. And their domain strength is 23. We Care Preschools, domain strength of 15. And remember, this is only 10 that show up. There's many, many more, and these are all sorted, I guess, in date order, whatever. But that's what you want to be looking at. Again, if you're working with us, we are looking at this kind of stuff for you. What do these results have in common? Well, title tags are really essential in what we do. And so here you go. You can notice that I searched for preschool. This is San Diego and Chula Vista. So our customer in Chula Vista. And the keyword here that I was going after is preschool. And they have preschool in their name, but you can see they also have it in their title tag. And they have the location. Yelp, you notice, has preschool and Chula Vista in their title tag. And that's why they do all these 10 best lists. That's why, if you ever wonder why Yelp has thousands and thousands of these 10 best, that's how they insert those keywords in there and get it done. Here's the YMCA. Here's the Montessori school that's smart enough to know they got to get preschool in there and they got to get Chula Vista in there. So even though they're a Montessori school, here's a church school, preschool's in there. So those are things that you have to make sure that are in your title tag and correctly done. And oftentimes we see that it's not. And also, again, remember what the rules were 3 years ago have changed to some degree. So claimed and verified by Google, no spam in the company name, because in the past it used to be, 300 words of like every keyword I could get in the title tag. So make sure you're not doing that. Always the title tag, preschool Chula Vista, or some variation. So you'll notice here, preschool's at the front, Chula Vista's at the back. That's fine. Google's smart enough to read that whole sentence. Lots of citations with consistent reference to the name, address, and phone number. So name, address, and phone number everywhere has to be exactly the same. Too often we get lazy and we abbreviate. And remember, a lot of this information comes out from simple things like you filled out a new credit card application for the center because you want a new credit card app, and today you're abbreviating the street name, and you were too tired to write your full physical name out, so you just abbreviated that as well. Guess what? That credit card company is then selling your name and address out to the aggregators, and the aggregators are selling them to these different sites like Yelp. So be consistent. It's very important. Solid link profile across the web, and what I mean by that is, again, getting rid of the spammy links, because that'll happen. People will put links back to your site that you're not aware of. So that's why, about once every 6 months, you want to go look at that. And as I've said, lots and lots of online reviews. So the new formula: set up a great website with pages, get your keyword and geographic modifier in the title of each page, use unique content on every page, leverage multimedia so their on page stays higher, get online reviews, build your citations and consistency, post updated content on an ongoing basis, build links and authority, and leverage page search to identify high converting keywords. So anybody that's doing pay-per-click advertising is in a good position, because that's how you'll find those unique little keywords, that because Google's making recommendations on keywords you should be using that are actually getting higher search volume than the ones you may have signed up for. So that's all part of it. Track your progress, keyword ranking report. One of the tools, if you're doing this on your own, Bright Local is one we recommend. We have other tools that we use that cost some of them thousands of dollars. So this one's a fairly inexpensive one. If you're looking at traffic trends or organics, look at your Google Analytics. Have call tracking on your website, call rail, call tracking metrics. We happen to use call tracking metrics, is what we like to do. So what I want to offer, and then I'm going to put my offer out there, and then I'm going to jump over and show you a little case study just from yesterday that I went through. But if you're ready for an online marketing plan review, we'll do an analysis of your online visibility. Again, I'm sorry, I'm having problems speaking today. Custom keyword lists for most important search key terms. We'll look at your ranking report, show where you rank now, where you could go in the future, analyze your online directory listings and consistency, analyze online reviews and reputation, analyze your social presence, and finally, analyze website conversion effectiveness. So we'll look at your website, tell you what's working, what's not. And if you give us a call, 888-354-6196, you can do that. Again, we're working through this web presence domination method here, and we're still focused here on the SEO. That's what we talked about today. Again, if you want to give us a call, 888-354-6196, or localchildcaremarketing.com/schedule if you're ready to schedule an appointment. If you're an existing customer, please just reach out to Charles or Nicole and ask to get an appointment scheduled with me, and we'll get together and look at what's going on with your stuff. All right, Jordan says we can. So just take a site, and I hope that Marjorie's okay with me sharing this site with you. So Precious Lambs, Early Learning, that's the title tag that she has on her homepage. You'll notice that it does not have the words childcare, preschool, daycare. It has early learning. And believe me, early learning is the least searched of the phrases. Daycare is the most searched, childcare is second most, preschool is third. Early learning is not one of those things. And so we look at the website, got the phone number in the upper right-hand corner, a way to schedule a tour, that's all great. Meet the staff, so it takes them pretty quickly. And we did not build this site. That's why I'm using this site as an example. So there's lots of pretty good things here. Got a video on here. It's got her face here. So this is Marjorie. Got an event that's coming up, so that helps keep on-site time. Got the address and phone number down here again. Some mistakes made are, she's got her email address. You want to take that off because you want them to fill out a form instead of just sending an email, because then you can capture the emails that come in and have a better chance of keeping track of them. What I want to show you really is this little example. So I'm going to go to toddlers. So we've got a toddler page here. And so the first thing I look at on the toddler page is I take my mouse up here and I see toddler and Precious Lambs. So in the chat box, is toddler the right term to be trying to search for or rank for? Just the word toddler? Come on, somebody's got to help me out here. When you search for toddler, you'll notice what you get is Wikipedia information, you get Parents Magazine, you get some other directory listings, and you don't really see any childcare centers here at all. So that's the wrong phrase to be ranking for. So what should it say here? Toddler what? Well, toddler care. Let's see what happens when we put that in. All right, now we're ranking for childcare center stuff. So now we know we've got the right keyword phrase. Now remember, if you're a huge organization with an unlimited budget, you could probably rank for the word toddler. But I live in a real world where everybody has a budget and have limitations, so that's what you want to do. You want to get that keyword narrowed down. The other thing you want to do is go to the very bottom of the page, and you want to look at these other related terms that Google's recommending. So are all of these terms used on your page? Does your page say daycare for toddlers near me, schools for toddlers near me? And is that all interwoven into the copy on your website? And then to take it a step further, now you're still not ranking, so putting toddler care up in this title tag up here would be an improvement. But as soon as you put in Holbrook, New York, and I have to put in New York because of where I'm at, now we can see she's in the #1 position. Again, she's not using the in her title tag, so correctly done. This should be toddler, toddler care, city name, and you can throw in another keyword if you want. Child care would be what I would put in. So toddler care, pipe, child care, pipe, precious lambs. Next page, it's going to be something different, but you work through that and you look at each one of those pages. And then you go through and see, again, are those keywords that I pointed out and being used? Because when you take this, is this the right one? And I know it, trust me, we do this stuff every day, so this can be pretty time consuming. But you see it's guidelines and other things, and my guess is you add the word care in here and you're going to get a much different. Now this is authority stuff, and you can rank for authority stuff if you do it right. So you got to take all of those things into account on every single page. Make sure that a big thing with optimization on site is you cannot use grammar and paragraphs the same way that you're taught, because online is all about readability. The rule of thumb is you use something at the top that tells what your paragraph or your section is going to be about, and then you use a paragraph sign after about every 3 word or 3 sentences, so it's really easy to read. And if you don't know if you've got easy to read or not, take just any one of these sentences and again, there's a variety of ways to do it. Let's see if I can find my word. Stop sharing here for a second. We just come over to a Word document and we can throw that in there. And we go to review, spelling and grammar. And I'm just going to ignore everything right now because what I want to see is people online read at the 8th to 9th grade level for the Flesch Kincaid grade level score, or for the Flesch reading E score, it should be 50 to 55 is preferred. That's about the level of a Reader's Digest. People don't read at the 14th grade level. Now, I mean, and I'm not talking, well, you've got smarter parents than everybody else. All the research says they read at the 8th to 9th grade level. They're all about skimming. It's all about captions. It's all about headlines. It's all about headers. So you got to work on getting that down. And usually the biggest thing that we find is complex sentences. So you take this sentence and rewrite it, get rid of the as well as, and it'll change. Take this sentence right here, and instead of it long with lots of commas, turn it into bullet points. And all of a sudden this will read a lot better. And you notice if I had a header up here, yes, these are called paragraphs, but that's much more readable. So those are the things that you're looking at as you go through this stuff. Let me just grab something back here. I'll stop sharing one more time. So again, if you're interested in talking to us, give us a call at 888-354-6196 or go to localchildcaremarketing.com and schedule. Are there any more questions that I can answer today? If not, I'm going to wrap this call up, and I appreciate your time. Again, I apologize, struggling to talk a little bit today, but really wanted to get this information out to you because I believe it's essential for you to do and get as you're trying to grow your center. All right, I'm not seeing any additional questions. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.